The following podcast is brought to you by the Johners Podcasting Network, found exclusively at WrestlingWithJohners.com.
All right, everybody. Welcome to another edition of After Elite here at Bucklebomb Entertainment. I'm your host once again, Orlando, and I am joined by our Elite's own Gary and Seven. How are you guys doing today?
I'm not doing too bad. It's kind of hot. It's getting warmer here. I live in Oregon. I'm not used to this heat. Like, it doesn't get above 70, so.
As I was mentioning to Orlando, in the mid-90s over here today, where I had to be on the line where we're blending alcohol in the distillery, where no AC on whatsoever. So talk about a very torturing day. But yeah.
Yeah.
Are you guys allowed to, like, drink? Because I think, like, whenever I used to go out in Arizona and I would drink, like, you would not remember the heat. You wouldn't remember most of the night either, but...
Not on the job. Not on the job
Gotcha.
setting.
Bummer.
I mean, we do like swab samples, see if it tastes perfect for distilling, but that's about it. So.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, here in Florida, we have to have a freezer for all of our drinks because it's always hot down here. So, so welcome to the club with dealing with the heat wave. So. Alrighty. Well, before we get into Dynamite, I just wanted to touch on some other news that we should discuss before we get into AEW. There have been reports saying that after Randy Orton did his surgery, there is a chance that maybe his back is not really well, that he may not be able to return. What do you guys think? I will start with you, Seven.
I have not heard of this rumor. That's always hard. Luckily, he's one of those superstars in this case that has such a long, illustrious career that if this is a spot, or this is his stop, it's not necessarily a tragic ending. It may not be when he wants to end, of course, which is always the hardest part. Like, when do you actually hang up your boots? But you know, I mean, it's unfortunate no matter how you look at it or try to spin it.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, he had a great 20-year career in WWE, so I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. Gary, what say you? Greg, what say you?
Greg, Gary, it's all the same, right? I am Elias's and Ezekiel's cousin. There you go.
There you go.
I'm just like Seven. This is actually interesting. I did not hear this either. This is very unfortunate news for sure. I'm a big Randy Orton fan. I've loved Randy since the very beginning. I just hope it's not career ending. And if it happens to be that way, he will hands down be one of the greatest that's ever stepped in a WWE ring. There's no way of denying that. I mean, technically, you know, Randy was one of the reasons why the Ruthless Aggression era was so successful, you know. So, I mean, damn, man, like, this is very unfortunate, but I wish him nothing but the best for sure. So hopefully we get some good news.
Yeah. I mean, hopefully it's just a rumor. It's not really true. I mean, but, you know, he had a great 20-year career, so I don't know if maybe, you know, he's ready to hang up the boots. I mean, let's just see what happens. So, hopefully, like Randy, I mean, he just celebrated his 20-year anniversary in WWE. So, I mean, speaking of 20-year anniversaries, I mean, we had Orton's, we had Cena's. Now, coming up this Monday night on Raw, we're going to be celebrating Rey Mysterio's 20-year career in WWE. Can you believe that?
None of them bother me or make me feel old because a lot of them started before I started watching wrestling, so I feel like that the only one that does make me feel really old is Randy Orton. Or no, John Cena. John Cena, because I saw him before he was even John Cena at a SmackDown show when he was doing a dark match. So it's one of those things where I saw him before he was even John Cena, and he's 20 years now, and I'm like, damn, I'm old.
Yeah, I agree with that. I've been watching WWE since like 1999, so hearing that it's 20 years of Rey Mysterio in WWE, I'm like, oh shit.
That's crazy to think too, man. I mean, I remember when WCW again, I was with that company through and through until the very end. I remember around the Russo era, I was like, man, I really want to see Mysterio in WWF at the time.
Yeah.
You know, and all of a sudden when he got into WWE for that SummerSlam match against Angle, you know, I was like, this is awesome. I'm very happy for Ray.
Mhm.
So, one thing I would love to see though is, let's say this just happens where Ray just wants to retire. You know, this is MSG. I'm very happy to, you know, for my success that I've had in WWE. And next thing you know, you see the heel turn for Dominic and him kind of handing the torch over to his son, being like, okay, there you go. You're the only Mysterio. Now make me proud, kid. And I would love that. What do you guys think?
I have opinions and thoughts. So no, okay, I actually love what you're saying, but I think it should be, okay, I think it will be a long feud between them before they are like, okay, we're done. I don't think it's just going to be a one and done or like a heel turn. I think it'll be definitely, or it should be. I think everybody would like to see that type of passing of the torch, or at least I would.
Mhm.
I don't know. But I
Yeah.
also have a weird relationship with my dad, so that could explain why I have no issues with the family fighting. No,
Right.
kidding. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, for me, it's just like I think he did say in an interview that he wanted to retire, but then when his son got into wrestling, he stayed a little bit longer. So I mean, he could retire by the end of this year. I think he just wanted to help out his son for the transition.
Hmm.
And Dominic really needs it. I'm sorry, like he's bland. I mean, he desperately needs it. I mean, unless if they move him to NXT 2.0 so he could work with the other people there, but I mean, he's already still in the main, like he's on the main roster and he's one of the young guys, like Theory. So, I mean,
Yeah, I see what you mean. There really hasn't been a spark in Dominic in a while, you know, and it's funny that you bring up 2.0 Orlando because I feel that's where Dominic should have started anyhow.
mhm.
But, you know, Ray did say a few months ago, you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, he said he would love to have one match with Dominic. So, in an interview like a few months ago. So, I mean, you're probably right, Orlando. It certainly could happen.
Yeah, I mean, like I think he said that he wanted at least to hold the tag belts with his son at least once,
Oh,
which they
okay.
already done, So if they want him to move on and just like have Dominic be by himself, I mean, they could. I mean, but he just really needs a new character change.
They were
So
really they were really tech amateurs together.
yeah, it was during the pandemic era.
I mean,
Remember?
a
Re-
lot of
re-
wrestling was hard to watch during the pandemic. That's probably why I don't remember.
yeah. So, but anyways, also some news from WWE. Let's after this, we'll go into Dynamite. What did you guys think about hearing that they may go back to TV 14? So there's some conflicting reports saying that they're going to do it, they're not going to do it. They just now reporting that SummerSlam is now going to be TV 14. So what say you, Greg? Let's start with you first. What do you say about this?
Maybe if I make the beard shorter, then you actually will call me Gary. No, no, I'm just giving shit, man. Yeah, it's. I keep saying this. Yes, I will say this as a fan of the TV 14. I like it for one reason only. Great. They're changing up their landscape. Good. This is what they needed to do all along. For anybody that follows Bucklebomb Entertainment for the very latest news, you know, it's been, you know, reported by us that, you know, they're really only going TV 14 for Raw. What does it mean for SmackDown? Um, maybe SmackDown will get there. After all, they do UFC stuff on Fox, and that's literally 14 anyhow. So, I want to be very excited for it, but I think what their TV 14 is going to be is just cussing, the typical B word and ass and stuff like that. I don't think it's going to be violence with blood or anything.
Oh,
Did somebody kick him out of chat?
oh, uh-oh. Well, while
Somebody's FBI agent is a fan of WWE.
right, exactly. I don't know. Seven, why don't you respond while I'll let Gary know.
Well, I completely disagree with what he was saying. No, I'm just kidding. No, honestly, like I don't know what it means. Do I feel like it needs to go to TV 14? Not really. Like I can enjoy it just as much as I can any other. To me, it's neither here nor there. You
Right.
know what I mean? Oh,
They kicked him out. Oh, we'll add him back. No worries. Okay, yeah. Yeah, you were saying. I'm sorry.
No, that was it. Like for me, it doesn't matter. I can still enjoy a product if it's PG-13, G, or whatever. It's the wrestling that matters for me. So the other stuff is a little trivial. Like I don't know.
Are we back?
Yes, my friend Vicky was calling me on Facebook Messenger, so it just kicked out at everything. I gotta try to
Damn it, Vicky.
to.
No, I'm kidding. No. For me, I think maybe a little bit of blood because like they always stop the match whenever they see blood. So, they always have to clean the wound and then they can restart the match. So maybe this is a way where they can still kind of continue the match. Because you notice like there's a lot of matches that they do stop it when they see blood. They try to clean the wrestler up so that way. So maybe a little bit of blood wouldn't hurt like here and there. So
I mean, last thing I will say, Orlando, I'm sorry to cut you off.
No, that's okay.
This is where my negative comes about. Again, I already said my positive grade for that. But the negative to me, I'm not saying WWE is a bad show. It's just they need better writing. If they can get better writing with this 14 rating, I will be happy with it, man. Like, I don't want to see them just getting 14 because they're covering up their flaws. I don't want them just to do it for that sake. I say that about, AEW as well, but I got something to say during the main event as well.
Okay.
Because again, it's a flaw that I had. But I really, really feel that they're covering themselves up from a lot of repairs. I mean, like I said, TV 14 is a good start. I feel another positive. This is actually them listening to their fans.
Mm-hmm.
And that is good. That is very good. And I give WWE kudos for that.
Yeah, and I mean, like, even with TV 14, it's not going to help make the product better. I mean, they still have to do a lot of things when it comes to storyline wise. And
that's exactly what I'm saying, man. I totally agree, Orlando.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens. So if it's a little bit of blood and a little bit of like saying a little shit every now and then by all means,
That's the balls is what we want to see, don't we, Miz?
Of course. I mean, he has that shirt now. He has massive balls. I mean, come on.
I would buy that shirt and WWE actually would get my money.
Okay. See, you got a little customer there, right there. All right. Now let's get into AEW Dynamite. So how do you guys feel about overall the show?
I enjoyed it a lot. I can't think of too many things that I didn't like about it. If there was anything that I was like, it was made up through like surprises and just goofiness or whatnot. So I really liked it. It was a good show for Dynamite.
Well, for the Cole Carter and Ricky Starks match, though, that's what I say about it.
You got sound effects too. Nice.
Figure I'll spice it up a little bit.
Well, I mean, like Cole just got there, and I mean, I don't know, like if I think he's gotten used to the WWE system. So when
Yeah.
you get out of the system, you have to takes you a little bit of time to get back into the wrestling aspect of things. So he didn't have many matches, since his release from WWE. So I'm gonna give him a pass on that. So you
I
know,
mean, I don't think it was bad.
no.
It's just,
They didn't mesh well. That's the thing.
there you
You
go.
could tell they didn't mesh well because I think he still was thinking like the WWE style, whereas of course Ricky has been in AEW since the beginning, so it's just like he's already been like that. So would you agree with that? Like when you got like a certain style seven, and then you go into somewhere else and the style's a little different, maybe you're not meshing well.
Yeah, I mean, there could be a million different reasons why their timing may have been off, but all in all, like I think because we watch it from a standpoint of where we want to analyze everything, obviously for the
Hmm.
show and that. But just as a person watching and not, so how I try to watch wrestling is completely different than how I try to break it down, when I'm training or even during the podcast. I just try to like get rid of all that and think, do I just enjoy what it was? And if I don't think about, oh, was the timing off or was that like a really stiff kick?
Hmm.
If I don't have that in my mind, it was a decent, match. So I mean, for me, kudos to them. Cole was probably nervous. It's a big stage compared to NXT, and it could have been nerves, but I don't think there's anything necessarily bad about the actual match. Right? I don't think they did anything wrong in the match, kind of thing.
No, of course not. No. And plus, like I think it didn't help that he got booed. I mean, you
Yeah,
heard the boos, right?
Yeah.
definitely feeling the tension. I mean, I say this all the time since I've been a part of an AEW Ruckus crowd. If Sarah was here, she would say the same thing. Like, they're going to give you your opinion. If they don't like you, they. But,
But that's not
but
fair
then
to
again,
Cole, though. I mean, he just got
but,
there. Like, jeez.
but to be fair in Cole's defense, like, you can't boo just a talent just after one
Yeah,
prime
exactly.
time match, you
You
know?
know.
Like, come
Hmm.
on. Like, I feel that that's a little shady from the
And
fans, to be honest.
yeah.
Um, but back to the card, though, Orlando. I feel like I'm literally cursed with coming over here because AEW's given them the good matches because Danhausen gets a match next week for the
You said
title.
hers.
Jeez. Like, come on. That's awesome. Um, should Danhausen's first title be the FTW title if he does win it? Something
No,
tells me he will, and
no,
Hook
no, no,
will
no.
challenge him for that title.
Exactly.
Something
No,
tells me.
that's what I'm thinking too. Like,
And
it's gonna be
so,
Danhausen versus Ricky, but then like Hook is gonna get involved, and then that's gonna be an issue for Taz because his son is gonna about to get involved with his boy. So
right. So
Mm.
we shall see.
you know.
Um, the main event. The main event was pretty good. It was very fun to watch. This time I'm glad. I mean, this time I think the match, the barbed wire match, even though it was not the exploding barbed wire match, this makes up for the little sparkling blunder from Katy Perry's fireworks song.
Oh my God. I was expecting Seven to compare Katy Perry to that.
Who's Katy Perry?
uh,
Okay, anyways.
this is where the flaw comes into play.
Uh-oh.
If this is getting Jericho's faction to get more people, it's really going to give me a buzzkill. I love Anna Jay very much. My mother, she literally was calling me the match. She couldn't believe what happened. Again, she loves Anna Jay.
Oh my God, I
Um,
want to hear this. Hold on.
this was perfect. When she called me, I kid you not, guys. She calls me. She's like, that bitch. Why? Like, I'm like, it just calmed down. It was perfect. But yeah, if this is adding more people to the faction, slow it down a little bit. Slow it down. They're just going to add too many pieces. I get it, Orlando. I mean, you make a good point sometimes when you say it's adding more women to more storyline. I mean,
Of course.
that's good, yes.
Yeah.
But if this is going to add another addition to Jericho's Appreciation Society, it's getting too big for me.
Yeah, I mean, the thing was just that because like Ty and Anna were tag team, it just
Right.
wouldn't make. I don't know, like they could have built to the story of them feuding. I don't know, but I'm glad that they're still together. I think Anna kind of needs this more than anybody else because like because I don't know what the plan was for the Dark Order because even though they said that they're all going to be together, well, we'll see what happens. It seems like a lot of them are doing things separate now, so. I mean, I'm happy for this. I mean, like, and also like another tag team. So it looks like women's tag team belts are coming soon. So because they're building a lot of tag teams, Anna and Ty, Britt and Jamie, Thunderstorm,
Yeah.
Baddies. I mean, there's a lot of tag teams now in the women's division. So
Um, that's a perfect segue. Seven, I want to hear your opinion on this one. Jade Cargill's badge. I thought this was very impressive from Jade, to be quite honest. What
I mean,
was
she had
your overall
Jermaine
thoughts?
Dupri. She had the very own Jermaine Dupri from Hotlanta in the house. So.
Well, look at Orlando. There you go. He's excited.
Honestly, it's probably one of my more favorite matches from AEW Women's Division. It was incredible from start to end. The match was exactly what it needed to be. Um, I mean, I couldn't say anything bad about it. Like Hogan was a badass. Jade followed through with everything. Like they were on point at all times. And then you have Willow, who's just fucking amazing. Period. Like
I love Willow.
she can do no wrong. And then you have Athena, who is the seasoned veteran, who's like balls to the wall with everything she does. You have, and you have two of kind of the newer. I mean, Hogan has been wrestling a little bit longer than Jade, but still relatively both new. I mean, you have
Hmm.
two veterans. You're gonna get an awesome match, and that's what we got tonight.
Yeah, and I love the little tease that they had with Jade and Athena. Like it
Mhm.
seems like they're gonna work really well together. And Athena, she's just amazing. She could work well with anybody. So
Also, she took a hell of a bump on that staircase. So I hope
I
she's
know,
okay.
right?
Like I was like, ooh, that's a concussion.
I know, right? Ugh, I know, right? So yeah. Hmm. But yeah, I'm excited just to see Jade and um. Can we get some justice for Chris Statlander? Because I'm sorry, like she was supposed to be in this match too. Where was Layla Gray? They said that she wasn't clear. Why couldn't they add another baddie? Like they can have an impromptu baddie added, you know?
I'm going to applaud this gentleman over here because, well, there we go.
Or maybe.
I was like, me? No? Okay, well, fuck you too. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, I fucking love you, Brian. Don't worry. So, that's coming from Greg and Gary. So, Orlando, I'm gonna say, man, you're yeah. So everybody that's tuning in, Orlando made some good pointers to me. I was very pissed off that Statlander decided not to be in the match, and
Hmm.
this man over here said that maybe it's because Willow will take the fall, so that way it protects Chris, and that's
Of course.
exactly what happened.
Hmm.
So, for that sense, I applaud you, good sir. I am happy you got my frustration and anger all settled down. We're good now.
However, Athena was being a little sneaky in the little interview that they did in the back. She said to Chris Statlander, "You can get the AEW Women's Championship while I have the TBS Championship." So she's trying to say, like, don't come for Jade, So, I mean, but Chris was like, she had like that face, like maybe you're right, but I don't know. Maybe she wants that TBS title first. I don't know.
See if Statlander goes against Thunder Rosa. Something tells me she won't beat Thunder Rosa because TK doesn't believe in short title reigns.
No, no,
Except if it's for the that title. Sorry, TNT title. So
TBS,
whatever it is,
TNT.
TN, TBS, whatever.
Yeah. Thunder Rose was dealing with Britt, unfortunately. Like Britt Baker had to come and say like she shouldn't be doing any interviews, which I'm
I
I'm not
love Britt
liking.
Baker, so
Yeah, I
I'm
love
not
Britt
complaining.
Baker, but I'm not liking that she's coming from my Latina sister. No, nope, not from my Thunder Rosa. No. Mm-mm, nope. How do you guys feel about it? What say you, Stephen, about that little backstage interview that they both did?
I mean, okay, so everybody knows I'm not a big fan of like long or not necessarily long storylines, but like heavily storied, like 20-minute promos. I'm not about that life. But I like that they added a lot of story within like a 2-minute time span. You know what I mean? Like there was a lot of shade thrown. There didn't have to be like a long speech. And I like that. I appreciate it. It reminds me back of the old ECW days. Like the promos were in and out, and then you get to the wrestling. That's how I like my wrestling. So so for me, it was great. It hit all the bullet points.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, good point. Very good pointers there. I'm hoping he becomes a new follower on BBE tonight. But Stu Sexton, thanks so much for the pictures. Literally, he was front row.
Oh,
Um,
nice.
literally, he was like, "Here you go, bro," and it was a great picture of Stat for her Dark Elevation match. So
Okay.
um,
Aw,
he knows me
Stewie
quite
was
well.
there.
Yes, he sure was.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I bet he saw that great celebration for Keith Lee and Swerve Strickland, where they celebrated being the new tag team champions. And then of course, what's his name? Tony Nese and I always forget the lawyer's name.
Mark Sterling.
Yeah, thank you, Sterling. There you go.
Yes.
And I'm sorry, I don't know my the current rappers that are happening. I don't know, like he called them, yeah, MC Young. Like everybody, like from a previous chat that I was on, everybody was like laughing about that. And like I saw a picture of the actual rapper. That person does not look nothing like who he shaded. I'm just like, yeah. And then of course, he takes the cake in the face. So.
Yeah, that was a little cheesy, but hey, it got Keith Lee and Swerve on TV, so that's okay for that.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, it was an okay segment. It was what it was. I think it was just for them to get onto TV, and
At least celebrate with the tag belts, because like they rushed that main event last week. So I mean, like
yeah,
I don't, I'm still waiting. I don't know like why TK can't buy like at least 5, 10 minutes more time in TBS. Like like they have to rush in the last couple of minutes in the main event. Like it's just
I do agree with that. Even this main event, after when the whole angle was done with JAS and Eddie Kingston and stuff, boom, there, that was it.
I know like they
I
rushed
mean,
for like they had to do the big old spot at the end. Like what say you, Seven? Do you agree with that? Like he should get more time, right?
Hold on, maybe. So I want to go back to the what you guys are talking about with Swerve and
Oh,
then real quick.
right, right.
I thought it hit everything that it needed to be. It wasn't that long. It was entertaining.
Hmm.
Like it wasn't like a bore fest. To me, that it was great. Like it had everything it needed for that spot, and it did what it needed to do.
Hmm.
As far as the main event and rushing, and should they have more time? Maybe. Um, so this is kind of the problem with AEW. Their roster is so full, so they're trying to get as much done as they can so everybody can get the spotlight, etc.
Hmm.
Unfortunately, unless you're going to have two equal type of shows or even make dark more of a competitive type thing, you're
Hmm.
not going to have a spot for everybody and it's going to continue to be rushed. For me, I would rather not watch a 3 hour show. I mean, I love AEW, but I don't have the attention span of a 3 hour show. Um, so no, I don't know. I don't know what
I
the right answer is.
Well, not like a 3 hour show, more like just adding an extra 5 minutes towards the end because like they're rushing towards the end. Like we saw it from last week when Swerve and Keith Lee had to get to their finish, to win the tag belts, and then of course at the end of here, like they did do the pin, and then the big spot at the end where Kingston threw Jericho into the pit of barbed wire. It
Mhm.
seemed like very rushed. So
I
Yeah,
mean,
I mean, WWE used to do it back when Raw was War, or Raw is War, or is it still Raw? No, it's Monday Night Raw
Well,
now.
it was Monday Night Raw, but yeah, before it was
Yeah,
called Raws War.
yeah, and I mean, they used to add like 5-10 minutes depending on if it was a big event. So I don't see why not. Or
Yeah,
but that's more of the network's decision, I feel.
yeah, I agree.
I totally agree. I mean, I think they should maybe do like an extra 15. I mean, like literally everybody wants Rampage to be 2 hours, and then that way they can get all this in there. But if it's going to be on a 10 o'clock slot until midnight, no.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, I do agree with Orlando. Sometimes it just does feel rushed, but
mhm, yeah.
I don't have an answer. I'm not the network, unfortunately.
All right. Well, since we're speaking with the main event, I just have to say that that match was very violent. A lot of blood. I mean, Eddie Kingston did say he wanted Jericho's blood, and he literally got it. I mean, Jericho's face was so red after the end of that match. I was just like, damn.
I'm mad we didn't get a pizza cutter, but know.
Yeah, a barbed wire pizza cutter would have been trending. Could you imagine that?
Oh gosh, they would not allow that after what happened last time.
Oh,
So
please. I don't think they care. Come on now.
I don't think they care. It's just people are just gonna just remember that incident. So
Right.
because wrestling fans are really smart, they have a good memory for things. So
Right. What say you, Seven? How did you feel about the main event? Was it?
I really enjoyed it because a lot of times when you think of a big company, okay, so let me go off starters. Like I grew up in the ECW, the original ECW days. That's what I loved. Combat Zone Wrestling. I was a fan of. So I know death matches pretty well, and of course I'm in love with GCW now. So death matches I'm a big fan of, and I felt like whenever like a company was going hardcore, like the E would also attempt to do their version of hardcore, and it never delivered. And this does include like WCW at the time too. It just never delivered as much as like I want to say a real indie show, but more or less, yeah. So I'm always skeptical when you have like exploding barbed wire matches on a big network thing, because generally you're not going to get the same effect, and there's more guidelines that you have to follow, and it can't be as bloody, etc. However, this version of it was actually very similar to what you would see at like a GCW show or another type of deathmatch show. And did we
Right.
have exploding glass or anything? No. But we still had barbed wire contraptions that you would see a lot of. So I mean, for me, it delivered. It did its job. It was bloody, and that like end spot. Ooh,
Yeah.
no sir.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
yeah, that did look pretty brutal.
Yeah. Yeah. So other matches that happened on Dynamite was Brody King versus Darby Allin, and oof, poor Darby. He,
I really liked the result for this because usually what happens is when Darby gets his ass kicked, he comes back as the hero, you know, the comeback kid, I guess is what
mhm,
you can say. And no, they just showed pure domination from Brody
mhm,
King. So I really liked it for that. Um, and then, of course, afterwards we saw Sting come down, and you know, I guess it looks like perhaps it could be save it for Minneapolis, TK.